3 months ago, I planted over probably 300 flowers that I started mostly from seed. Lots of annuals, zinnias, things like that. But I did do some different herbs and things that would flower and be perennials. And I did it because I was really worried about the lack of bees that I had. And just want to let you know, this is the result. This last week I planted 72 zinnias up in here. It's either going to be spectacular or a mess. I guess we'll see. In my mind, it's spectacular. Last plant. Okay, so this is kind of the early summer view of the flower patch, and I'd say it's coming along. I think when I planted 300 flowers this spring, I didn't really take into account timing for everything. So that's cool because it's all starting to bloom at the same time by a happy accident. And what I love are all my little bees that have shown up. So that's pretty fantastic. Earlier in the year, I think I had like a little short on Instagram where I was very concerned about the bees. And yeah, I'm glad that some of them are coming back. We had a very late frost and it killed a lot of our bumblebees, which are my favorites. So you can see this side of the border is just not as full. And I think it's because I don't have the yarrow over here. Instead I have Shasta daisies and they're not blooming. But again, this is early. I wasn't expecting this flower border to really fill in until July, mid-July, early August. So I'm pretty happy with this. But yeah, this was where we planted the 72 zinnias. And like I said, this side is looking much fuller and brighter. So that'll give me some planting ideas, you know. And of course, all of it has this awesome blue porta potty behind it. So there's a few little things that I have not been super happy with. And one of them were the petunias that I started from seed. And this is the best example. So what I'm going and doing today is going through and literally cutting them all down. I think they got too leggy to start with in the greenhouse. And now, so that was a problem number one. And then now we've had a drought. As you can see, it's gray today and we're supposed to have rain for the whole week. So before the rain started, I fertilized everything and I'm going through and trimming these all off. I'll show you what they look like once I'm done. I wasn't aware that it was possible for the petunias to look more pathetic, but now that I've cut them all off, I find out that it is. Again, everything is way behind. Number one, because I have not been watering it very well. And we've been super dry for Western North Carolina. I will admit, watering is not my favorite thing to do, and it is not necessary here most of the time. So that's been a problem. And because of that, see right here, it's just looking like a bunch of weeds, but in reality, it's mostly flowers with some weeds. Now, I know I'm gonna get a whole smack ton of flack for this border here, but I don't really care because it's beautiful. And, you know, we can debate these non-natives in the comments. And then I did get a couple big box flowers, and these are the most fantastic, beautiful petunias. They're night sky. I just love them. But yeah, so the flowers are turning out great, especially knowing that so many pollinators got killed very early this year, because this is the result so far. And while most of the flowers were planted in the front, I made sure to tuck them everywhere else. And they've even survived mostly the renovation. So let me show you some of the other areas that look amazing. And also, the garden pollination has been on point. Let's go take a look. So I'm not gonna lie, planting 300 flowers was a lot of work, and you might wonder why I did it and what I chose. So when we moved into this house probably 7 years ago, I planted some vegetables and they did awful because there just wasn't enough pollinators. And I just started growing more flowers, and then people in the neighborhood liked the flowers, and it kind of exploded from there. And then this year I was just like, I must make it explode with flowers. And I can tell you, it just feels so good to have so much life and feel like I helped contribute to that. Because we have so many bees. I mean, I don't even know if you can see behind me on these zinnias. And it costs like hardly anything. We just went and picked up 3 or 4 packets of zinnias, and then some other things that were a little more niche, like borage, white borage, and honeywort, which I don't love, but the bees love. It's not very pretty though. And just other things along those lines that caught my eye. Straw flowers, I always grow those because they make such nice dried flowers. And a bunch of echinacea from the previous years that had self-seeded, and I grew more of that. And yes, it is work. But it's like having an aquarium with bumblebees. You get to stand out here and just watch them fly around. And also, it's just so cool to see all of my vegetables doing so good and see so much life come back. It's even funny, they land on the pond and drink. Let's go see if we can see a couple of those. Let's see, we've got a wasp taking a little drink right now. He's drinking right now, but everybody on the milkweed right by the pond is super happy. It's like landing central. And it looks like we've got some guys here on the white borage as well. So what can I say? We do it for the wildlife, and sometimes we get real close over here. We do it for the bees, and also, you know, that. Because who doesn't need to see a little beetle mating? self-serving because who doesn't want to boop a bumblebee? Boop. So yeah, just buy a couple of packs of zinnias and you can absolutely 100% transform your yard.